How's everybody doing? My name is Mike. We got my dog Roots hanging out on his place, and we also got Mr. Captain with us today. Captain's in the down command right now, and of course it's a down stay, but we just refer to it as a down to the dog. The stay is implied with the command when we have them get into the down position. So what we're doing is I was just working with him and working him in his routine, and then I was throwing my timer on my oven to go off because this dog has kind of a unique issue that other dogs develop this as well. He has a little bit, some fear he shows when he hears like a trash truck. The owner made me aware of this, and specifically the beeping as well sets him off, similar to the trash truck where in homes he was allowed to free roam the house. So if he heard something like that, they can practice fear. That's what we would refer to it as when the dog like runs into another room and tries to hide. That was the type of stuff that he was doing. Now with a leash and an e-collar, we can easily start blocking that. And when we teach the dog things like the down command, now we have a good behavior to refer them to. So when we say no to them, to like, hey man, don't be freaking out because you hear a trash truck and trying to block that fear. Now we can say down, and we can give him a command then that he's familiar with and that he now knows what to do. Whereas before training, before the dog has real obedience, training with a real foundation, and you're saying no to your dog doesn't really understand what to do. That's why we want to teach them these good behaviors. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timer. If he gets up, I have this leash where I can step on the leash and correct him, bring him back to the same spot, or I can go ahead and use the e-collar. Of course, when I'm at a distance, I'm going to go ahead and use the e-collar. If I think the dog is going to move, I will just simply repeat down to him, and that way he does not go ahead and move. So it's going to take me a second down. And I have to check him just even when I hit the timer just a little bit like that because he will move. So it's going to take a minute to go off, which is not an issue. It's actually a good thing. I don't want it to go off right when I go there. That would be too... Nope! See how... Down. So if he doesn't do it, I'll go over to him and help him. Down. See, what happens is after that correction, there's a little bit of confusion. They forget what to do, so you want to set that back in. He's relatively in the same place, so that's pretty good. And I can actually get up, down. Again, I remind him when I start moving around. I can check the timer and see when it's kind of gonna go off. But that was good. I want you to see that when the dog moves, it's no correction direction to get the dog back to that same spot. He knows what's going on. We were just doing this, so he gets very nervous. And when dogs get nervous, they just respond. And since they've been allowed to run, that's what his muscle memory tells him. His body tells him run. Down. See, I saved him from that correction. See that? I saved him with my timing, reinforcing the down, and just by saying, and I can even say it again if I think he's going to move. I can say down, just to remind him, to help him. And at first you might have to say it a lot, and then we slowly dial that back. The timer's going to go off again, so I'm going to get another chance to practice that with him. So I saved him from that correction just by giving him the down at the right time. Two things get a dog to listen. It's timing and effectiveness. Nope. Down. See if he doesn't. See, even though he moved a little bit, what I want to do is I want to put him heel. I want to put him right here. Sit. Down. I want to put him back in the same spot that I had him in. So the e-collar goes up a couple steps. We were at 13. We're at 15 right now. Down. So I'm just reminding him preemptively because I already know with him that he's going to kind of move, right? So since he moved a couple times, when it goes off, I'm going to go ahead and say down to him. And what it looks like is after a few days or after a week of doing this kind of... Nope. Down. See how he's moving? I don't want him to do that. Heel. I want him to... Down. I want him to go, put him back in the same spot, and I don't want to let him get further away. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up just a little bit. We're going to go to 17. It goes up to 127 levels, so it's very low right now. Once they get to about level 30 is where they kind of feel it a little more. So when I hear that go off, I'm going to yell down to him. And it's okay for him to be nervous and break the down, because we've only just started doing this the last few days with the timer. So it's perfectly fine for the dog down to get up and move. He's nervous. This is what he does. We're teaching his body and his mind to stop doing that. We don't, good boy, good down, because he put his head down. That's why I said that. It's all about body language in the dog's eyes. If you watch these things and you understand their language, it's going to be very simple to see, how they're feeling. When they put their head down, that means he's more likely to stay down. He could still move. Again, the muscle memory is very strong. So this is what you have to practice day after day after day with your dog until it gets desensitized. And whatever your dog's not good at, that's what you want to practice. Once they have obedience, you get freaked out when the oven timer goes off. Well, I cook a lot, so guess what we're going to be practicing for 5 minutes today instead of the daily routines? We're going to practice your down stay while the timer is going off. So these things are very beneficial, is to practice the things your dog's not good at. Down. Good boy. Good down. Good down. And that's all we want to give him, just a little bit of affection right now. With this verbal, we don't want to give him physical affection because he is so down. Just because when they get like that, sometimes they try to move. So I want to reinforce that down for him, because that's what's going to help him stay in that position. So if he wasn't good at the front door, if he was rushing in and out of the front door, we would practice that for 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. For sake of the video, we make it a lot shorter, but I'll do this with him just like this session, maybe 10 minutes at a time, and I will do that twice a day. And in 4 days, the timer is not going to be such a big deal. But we first have to have that obedience foundation for the dog to know what we want from them to have any kind of success. We got to teach them what we want them to do. Down. We want to teach them, to be fair to the dog, you have to teach them what you want from them. Then you can start to modify behavior. So the obedience foundation is what gets us to the behavior modification. Most people I talk to want to just stop the dog from doing things. Well, that's not really how it works. We got to teach the dog, to be fair especially, we got to teach the dog what we want from them, and then we can start to modify that behavior. Because once we're saying yes to the dog by teaching obedience, we're saying yes. Like the down is, we're saying good boy, we're saying yes to the dog, right? Good down. And then we can say no to the dog to make it fair, because we're saying, no, don't do this behavior. Do this good behavior that you already know and are familiar with, that I've taught to you and that you've had lots of practice with. So that's what's going to make your dog successful. Good down, buddy. Good down. Down. See how right then is the timing. That is the timing you need. If you miss that, the dog will get up. Timing is very important.